Hello. I have another. I, every time I sit down, I bump the table leg with my knee, and it shakes everything. So I apologize, but I have to stand up to start my camera, and then sit down to do the video. So, anyway, anyways, I have another journal that I wanted to share with you guys. A junk journal that I made out of an old. This was an old Reader's Digest book. I love the older ones that had the pattern, different colors and patterns on the cover, and then the spine was always solid with the titles. But I covered that up. This before I get into that, this journal I'm going to call it Correspondence, because it is all about letter writing and postcards and mail, snail mail, and just lovely things like that. I figure this journal would be great to use as an address book, or pen pal, happy mail, anything in that area that someone would want to use it for. So I covered this spine with this thick canvas. I believe it's called duck cloth. I could be wrong though, but I think that's what it's called. It's a thicker kind of canvas. And I stitched it and then put it on. I sewed the signatures directly through the spine. Just on the spine, I just did twine, because it makes me think of brown paper packages with the twine tied around them, like they would do back in the day. And tied on here, I just tied it on with a bow. It can easily be removed if that's someone's choice. And it's just got a little postcard charm on here and some beads and a little tag. I left the cover pretty plain, just because I like the way it looks. If someone wanted to put a title on here or a book plate or something like that, that would be perfectly fine. They could easily do that. I chose not to though. The closure is just these two bulldog clasps, bulldog clips, and I did put some beads on here. These were off of a vintage tassel, a beaded tassel that I took apart, and this little charm says kindness on it. And this is just put on it. They're attached. The front one is attached to the bulldog clip with a spring clasp. Too many big words today. I'm gonna get all tongue-tied. Tongue-tied. See, I'm telling you, I should just stop talking. But I do want to talk through this book. I know in the last one that I did, I just fast-forwarded through this part, which sometimes I kind of like, but this one has cool vintage, interesting things in it that I want to tell you about, and I think you'll enjoy it. So, like, for starters, these are vintage stamps that I got. These were my grandmother's, and when she passed, my grandfather just gave me a whole, like, a bag full of these, and there's more little glassine envelopes with more in them. Just a bunch of these, and I found these on my table after I cleaned up. I apologize for the messy, dirty table, but I've been kind of down in the back the last few days, and so I'm not moving around too great. And so I'm doing as little as possible. There have been times it's been hard for me to even sit here and work on my book, because sitting also hurts. So I was gonna put these in the book and didn't. I think what happened was I lost them in the clutter of ephemera that I was going to put in here, and ended up digging out my bag and getting different ones. But I mean, it all works. I kind of went with a color. It's not really a color scheme. It's really kind of a jumble of colors, which I think is great. But kind of coordinated. It's kind of got this pinky, orangey kind of, not orange, it's kind of a peachy brown color, and then this green and a little bit of blue kind of mixed through. But those are kind of scattered throughout the book. This is cut from a Priority Mail Tyvek envelope, and just collaged on there with some stamping, some more that shipping twine. I cannot talk when I talk about twine. Anyways, I tried to put that throughout just because to me, it's old parcel packaging goodness. This was a little piece of ephemera from a Prima paper pack that I cut out, a little 6x6 paper pack. In here is just some coffee dyed paper with a little bit of stamping on it to be written on. And this is a tuck spot with a tag. I believe most all of the papers in here are coffee dyed, except for the actual vintage papers. I did not coffee dye them because they already have their own natural aged look to them. And this is a pocket with a collage that I made using old vintage mail images. The journaling spot. This is a little tuck spot with another one of those little cutouts. A stamp here. I used this because it has the written text in the background and a little postage stamp, cancellation stamp on there. Writing dip pen nibs. This is a book page of quotes. It has lots of quotes all on it. I did some I did some stamping that's made just for aesthetic, I guess. And this is just some tiny little text stamp that I put on there. The old handwriting paper. And this clip has a tiny little envelope. This was from an ephemera pack that I got that I believe was K & Company. I'm not positive on that. Another one of those cutout pieces from the, what's it called? Prima paper pack. It's just a note paper with a little bit of stamping. Some more stamping here. Some pattern paper. This is an old ad for U.S. Mail. Down here in the corner it does say U.S. Mail, but I like that it has, you know, communication throughout the ages. You got from smoke signals to planes and trains and telegraph wires and all that. This is a little canvas tag that I made. It's stamped airmail on there, a little brass button pinned onto this fabric pocket, which is made out of the same fabric that's on the spine. Another little cutout and a stamped journaling card. An envelope. This is just another little ephemera piece that I cut out. And this has an old handwritten, I believe it's a poem. Yep, it's a poem, which is neat because it's about friendship and friends that were separated and how they'll meet again in the future. Or they hope to meet again in the future, which I thought was really fitting. Get that tucked in there. There's a little stamping there. This is a little journaling spot. This is from a collage that I made of vintage images. There's several of those that the book has. A ledger paper. This is from a shorthand, a book about shorthand, lessons on shorthand. Note paper. This is one of those that I told you about in other videos where it had the graph lines that were blue, and then when I coffee dyed it, they bled and just, yeah, added some interesting coloring. Lots of fun. There's some more of that little stamping. This is some onion skin paper that I sewed a ruffle on with. This is an old vintage envelope out of the back of a magazine. It was called Ideals. It was from the 50s, I believe 1956. Well, I have several in that era. And I thought it was really neat that you would tear this out of the back of the book to order your next subscription, I believe is what it's for. And you can see on there it says Ideals Publishing Company. I just thought that was really neat. And this is like what you're ordering. And in here, a little journaling card with some stamping on it. This paper here, I don't know if you noticed, it matches because this was the inside, the first cover page of the book that when I cut the pages out. And this is just a journaling spot that I did a little collaging on with some book paper that just had a bunch of words on it. This is fabric with a cancellation stamp on it. We'll return to sender stamp, and you can write on the back of it. This book is quite full, but it does have room to grow. If you were to see, it's full like that, but you can squish it. And a lot of that is because of the coffee dyed paper. It gets waves and some warping to it, but that presses out as it is in a book, the longer it's in a book. This is an image from a little magazine. It was a little flyer for a mail thing, and I thought that was cute with the mailboxes all lined up there. This was a vintage postcard I printed on cardstock for a journaling spot. This is some more of that Tyvek envelope that has the from and to in there, and I made a little pocket out of it and put a vintage airmail printout on it. It just says return to sender, a little tag. This is a printout of a vintage airmail envelope to Cuba, or from Cuba to Florida, and I just double-sided that so that it's the whole envelope that way. This is a label for, a mailing label. More pattern paper. This is I flip out this typewriter stamped on there, and this is a dictionary page that says correspondence and the description of that. On this side I put a vintage advertisement. This is neat because in 899 a dozen words an hour is counted good, and in 1899 50 words a minute is ordinary speed. I thought that was really neat. It's an advertisement for typewriters, of course. Another vintage postcard with a journaling space on the back. This is that the quote page from the book. A clip with some more of that canvas on it. This is from a book, a cutout. It's about the Pony Express in 1860. I thought that was fitting for this book. And it amuses me that the Pony Express only ran for about a year, if that even, from 1860 to 1861. So, a little stamping. This is a little piece of ephemera with one of those stamps on it. And this is a book page from a book. It's like a word and writing type book, and I like that it at the top of the line there it says airmail and then airplane. That was cute. This is a little piece of ephemera that I cut out and made a little tiny little booklet out of with coffee dyed paper. It's another little journaling spot. It says just dropping you a line. Writing space on the front and the back. It's a vintage postcard that I printed out, and down here is dictionary paper with the word correspondent and the description. Someone who communicates with another by letter. Thought that was very fitting. Little tag here where I stamped, I have news for you. And sewn on here, this is a page from the Ideals magazine that envelope came from earlier in the book. And I like this because it has someone's desk with a globe and books, and you got your ink well here and a paper, and it says dear friend, and they're writing a letter. You got your wax seal. And so I sewed it up and made an envelope out of it, and then sewed it into the book on the flap. Inside here is another journaling card with a collage on it that I made. I like that this book was about neighbors, and it was talking about speaking to your neighbors, and this is, I just like what this, because it could so apply to writing a letter as well. And it says, they touch upon crochet and knitting, how difficult parts are connected, then all about babies, the new ones and those that will soon be expected. You know, it's things that you would write a letter to your friend about. I thought that was really neat. a little paper clip here with some more muslin on this one. And I just stamped the little word type on there. It's cute. Little onion skin paper. This was from that book that had the Pony Express information in it, and this was about the telegraph, the great wonder of the world, the magnetic telegraph. And this just flips up, but it says 1847. A little pocket here with a little vintage image, handwork, kids sitting at a desk writing. It's more of that book page with the list of words. On this clip, I do have a little, I might have it on there backwards, but anyways, it's a little envelope charm. I'll have to turn that around. Got some canvas tied there. This is just clipped on, a little note paper. It's coffee dyed with a shipping label on it. And typewriter, vintage typewriter image, printed out. And sewn onto this little flip out is a little glassine envelope that you would get if you were collecting stamps, which was also my grandmother's. And inside it is the stamp that came with it, and it's Great Britain and Colonies. I believe there were 5 stamps in there, and there's only 1 left in there, but I left it in there. And it says on there, Littleton Stamp and Coin Company. Thought that was cute. Some glassine paper, not glassine, onion skin paper, some little ruffle on there. Some more of that, what is it called? Yeah, writing. I can't think. Shorthand. That's what it's called. Shorthand. Oh, I have not been with it all week. I don't know if it's because of the pain that I've been in because of my back. I haven't been taking any meds besides ibuprofen. I've learned that with me, the best medicine is to just stop for a few days and let my back rest, because if I just keep going and keep taking medications, I'll be taking medication forever. And yeah, anyways, back to the book. This is an envelope. It would be like for a bill that I received, and it has the pocket window in it. This was a sticker that I stamped on and put on there. Inside here is just a little journaling card. I like how it peeks through the pocket, the little window I mean. And on this side I put a little tag that says to and from. A little airmail printout. This is a little piece of ephemera that I got in a kit of a package of ephemera. I'm not sure the company. It says notes. A little collage here with some onion skin paper and ledger paper. More of that shorthand. I remembered what it was called this time. This is a vintage image of a family. I believe they're teaching this little girl her letters, how to write. And I thought that was fitting, because you got to learn how to write before you can write a letter. I thought that was really cute. The little stamp down here, so it'll flip out. Some more of those stamps, actual stamps collaged on there. And a little journaling spot with a vintage letter on it. There's also a little tuck spot. A little piece of ephemera with a typewriter on it. More of that book page. More onion skin paper. And on this I just clipped an envelope with some stamping on it. This is from and to, and place postage here. A little stamp on the other side. A little envelope. It says by airmail with a little stamping. And here is another vintage letter with that I printed from the internet. And back here is I safety pinned this little envelope on through the eyelet right here. Thought that was kind of cute. Put some stickers. Fragile and handle with care. So special package. This is a canvas pocket with a little well, it's a big tag for journaling or writing addresses or what have you. That just folds in. On the back here is an old note card with mailboxes. I thought was cute. Flips up. You can write on there. And there's, I already showed you the back of the book, but there it is again, in case you're interested. And then these just clip back on to hold it closed. And there it is. I hope you enjoyed that. Leave a comment or what have you. Thank you. Bye.